free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast. Coming up on today's show, we're assembling our very own team of Avengers as we induct 10 Marvel Cinematic Universe characters into the very prestigious Couch Brotato Podcast Hall of Fame. Join me and Adam, along with our special guests Mark and Lucas, as we debate, reminisce, and celebrate the most iconic heroes, villains, and scene stealers the MCU has to offer. Who made the cut? The only way to find out is to listen to the Marvel Cinematic Universe Hall of Fame right now on the Couch Brotato Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Couch Brotato Podcast, the show where friends shoot the shit about their favorite movies. My name is Russ, and with me as always is my partner in crime, Mr. Adam Lincourt. Besides looking like you haven't slept in 3 days, how are you doing, Adam?
I'm great. I'm a little tired, but I'm ready to talk some movies.
Well, good. Well, I am ready to talk movies as well, and I think for today's episode, I needed to assemble a team. And I scoured the globe to find the perfect co-host, guest to join us on today's show. And I think I found him. First joining us is the OG co-host of the Couch Brotato Podcast, Mr. Lucas Sidrus. Welcome back, sir.
Hello. I have returned.
The prodigal son has returned. Told you we'd always have a seat warm for you.
It is very nice here.
It is nice and cozy. Yeah. And we got, in terms of comic books, which is the topic of today's show, I don't think I know a more knowledgeable person on the topic than Mr. Mark Dyer joining us once again on the show. How's it going, man?
Good evening, Russ, Adam, Lucas. Doing good.
On the video, it looked real creepy because your face just got super close to camera and you froze for a brief minute. I'm like, oh shit, did he freeze or something happening here? Is he morphing into a creature? Is this turning into a horror movie or what?
You're like, fuck, he died. What the hell? No, he didn't.
Oh, dude, if you croaked on this, like this would never see the light of day. I was like, all right, that's a wrap. The show's
if
done.
I die in this, you definitely have to put it out there, you know?
Oh, yeah, the 3-minute Mark Dyer memorial episode.
Yeah.
Died doing what he loved. Talking about
Whoa.
I just put it on TikTok, though.
Listen, we've had trouble getting together to record this, so we were going to keep fucking recording whether he was dead or not.
Yeah, I just would have had to have gone on mute and like called 911. Like, I don't know his address. Somewhere out in Northridge. Send an ambulance, please.
I do appreciate that you scoured the globe and you found us within like 10 square miles of your house.
I know it's just, I think it was poetic.
Yep.
I reached out. I got hold of some contacts. You know, tried to get Sebastian Stan on the show. No, his publicist didn't return my phone call.
That's a bummer.
It is, but then again, like he's probably like, the what? All right. Well, the topic of today's episode is we're doing a Hall of Fame episode, and I thought, what better way to, I don't know, kind of, since the Thunderbolts was the #1 movie at the box office this weekend, Marvel's kind of, I don't know, lack of a better term, this is kind of like their victory lap. That some people are saying that they're back. I hope that they are. But I figured, what better way to kind of be in, since it's a Marvel type of atmosphere at the movies right now, than to do a Marvel Cinematic Universe Character Hall of Fame. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to come up with 10 nominees for the Couch Brotato Podcast Hall of Fame, and they have to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whether that is in movies or in TV. I think we discussed we're not including the Fox franchises, like the
right,
and Blade is disqualified, I think, because I know he appeared in Deadpool and Wolverine, but That's kind of a
I mean,
glorified cameo.
You could say Blade for Deadpool and Wolverine, but like he's not going to make it because it's one movie and he's in it for like, I don't know. He's got like what, 10 minutes of screen time?
Okay, well, I want to go ahead and nominate Gambit. So you guys can go fuck yourselves. Oh, I'm about to make a name of myself. Yeah.
All right, well, damn, Lucas, can I even get through the fucking rest of the introduction first?
I guess.
I know you're a bit rusty. It's been a while, but
Has been a while.
yeah, so all right, well, since Lucas is ready to jump the gun, but yeah, we're going to nominate 10 characters from either the movies or the television series, and then from those suggestions, we're going to whittle that down to a definitive top 10 that goes into the Couch Brotato Podcast Hall of Fame. Like I said, we're not counting the Fox properties. I guess since Lucas is playing hardball today, I guess Blade will count since he appeared in Deadpool Wolverine. I guess you have to have appeared in either a Marvel produced by Disney property. So it could be anything that Disney has released under the Marvel banner. So fair enough.
Now, I'm going to cut in here. The Sony Spider-Man movies are now canon within the MCU because of the Sony Spider-Man have come into one of the movies as continuous heroes. So their movies and their backstories have flowed over into the MCU, whereas like the X-Men have not.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire did appear in No Way Home, so yeah, they count.
Yeah.
As
And
does
then,
Venom. Tom Hardy's Venom
Yeah.
does too, since he was technically in the post-credit scene.
Right. So I feel like their movies count towards something in the MCU versus just the movie that they appeared in.
Yeah. Well, I personally, I don't know if they're Hall of Fame worthy, but we'll find out here soon enough.
Okay.
All right. Well, since I'm such a hospitable host, and Adam is a very hospitable host as well, I figured we'd let our guest give us their nominees first. And Lucas, since first time in a long time, we already know one of your nominees. So you want to give us your top 10?
Well, I was kidding about Gambit. He's not actually on my list, but I thought it'd be funny to throw him in there. And actually, his character was really cool in that movie.
His daddy shot him out of his dick ready, so.
Same. Ouch. So I'll read mine pretty quick, and then I'll run through, give an explanation if you'd like. Up to you. So I have Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Ant-Man, and Hawkeye.
Okay.
So that's my top 10.
Well, what was your criteria on your for your top 10? Like, was there a certain criteria that they met, or?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was more of like, what characters did I like that really made me feel something in the movies, whether it was laugh or, cry or whatever. So like, for example, like Hawk, one of the most important characters, but he wasn't really like, he just, was the smash guy. He was awesome in the Avengers. But other than that, it was like, okay. But then he was in Thor, and when he was fighting him and he was, partially human and all that stuff, that was funny to me. So I really enjoyed Hulk being in there. Scarlet Witch brings out the best in all of the cast. I didn't necessarily like her standalone movie, but she's very important to the story. Even now going forward with like Thunderbolts, she's still mentioned quite a bit and still really important. So,
You mean Black Widow, not Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. A little rusty here. Scarlet Witch is probably mentioned too. Shit, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Went to the Springfield movie theater. There was a lot of talking. Black Panther, one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite movies of the whole MCU. That's why I have him on there. And then, obviously the top three for me are, to me, the most important to the MCU. Without that Iron Man movie, there really isn't a MCU kicking off. And then Captain America and Thor just took it to another level. Although Thor 2 was really fucking awful. Probably one of the worst movies in the MCU. But anyway, that's my top 10 list.
Okay. Mark, what about you? Who's your top 10?
Okay. Like Lucas, I do have Cap. Iron Man, Thor, Spidey. I'm sitting with Star-Lord on 4. So Mr. Peter Quill. Loki, Thanos, Nick Fury, Black Panther, and Hawkeye.
Oh, wow. Hawkeye's on 2. Okay.
As well as Cap, Thor, and Iron Man.
Well, what was your criteria for your selections?
Captain America was the first Avenger. Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. You can't have the Avengers without the big three in the Marvel universe. It doesn't work without any of those. So when we got Spider-Man, it was a good introduction of the character into that universe, and a warm welcome one too. Plus 3 solid movies to entertain us, and plus when he was cut into the other movies. Star-Lord, Chris's portrayal of him has brought that whole space thing to a more human level. Plus it was a fun character to watch, and it also brought the Guardians of the Galaxy also to more, when it came out, nobody knew who they were really. And it was like, okay, this movie's great. It was awesome and phenomenal. I got Loki and Thanos on there because you got to have some bad guys in this list. I mean, you can't have a story without somebody to kick butt to. And Loki also stood very well in his own series beyond the cinematic universe with the TV thing, and expanded the character quite well. Thanos obviously beat the Avengers, so he's a badass. Plus, I mean, the portrayal was really, really good. It was solid. I actually talked to the creator of Thanos at one point, Jim Starlin, and he was like, I liked it. It was done really well. I just didn't like the costume. I said, okay, I get you. So if you look at the original artwork,
not enough dick.
And he didn't say that, so.
No.
Right. And then I put Nick Fury on there because Samuel L. Jackson, he brought the Avengers together. Plus, Jackson is kind of one of those characters that kind of jumped in and out of the movies here and there in places where it fit. Obviously, his end story was not what we all wanted because we got the Secret Invasion thing and the much aligned Marvels. So, and then Black Panther, which I agree with Lucas, that's a good character. It was introduced really well into the lore. And then Hawkeye also had his own standalone show that was really, really good. Plus, there's also a character that, you come to realize these characters actually have a family that we never ever see, really. Which is actually a deviation from Hawkeye's, origins in the comics. But it was at first I was like, oh, they can't do that. But I was like, okay, yeah, it works. Worked really well. Plus, when he did the turn to Ronin as the samurai or the warrior or the ninja person, he had to have his family taken away to have that swing in the character. So it made him a really good character arc too.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
too bad they're only paying his ass half. He ain't coming back.
Oh yeah. Well, and then of course he lost. I know I almost put Black Widow on the list, but I wanted Nick Fury on there more. But just because, if you guys didn't know, the Nick Fury character that we see in the universe was originally created in what was called the Marvel Ultimate Universe. and it was drawn like Samuel L. Jackson in the comics first, and they went, well, and then Samuel L. Jackson pulled it off. So,
well, he's a bad motherfucker.
Really good character. What's that?
He's a bad motherfucker.
He's a bad motherfucker. Yes, he is. So,
for me, I have Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. Obviously, they're probably the three most important characters to the series, and it feels like, especially with Cap and Iron Man, since they're not there, it seems like the MCU as a whole has kind of dropped off because there's not like the glue, like there's not that I guess that standalone figure that kind of stands above everybody else. It's kind of like, I don't know, just like the person that everyone looks up to, you know what I mean? Like the leader. Right. I have Loki and Thanos as well. I think they're probably, especially Loki's the best villain in the MCU. And I don't think it's close. And then Thanos was kind of like basically the whole purpose of the first, 19 or 20 movies was to get to the battle with Thanos. I have the Scarlet Witch. I just think that her character has just been so well done because she kind of starts out as a villain and then she becomes good, and then just due to like the trauma of losing the person that she loves, she starts to kind of teeter towards evil again, even though she's doing it for like reasons that she believes, like she thinks she's doing the right thing. I just think she's a very compelling character, and I hope that they bring her back somehow.
Well, her show, in my opinion, is still the best.
Oh yeah, WandaVision I think is the best.
Yeah,
of the Marvel TV shows too. Loki's is probably number 2, but yeah, the Scarlet Witch is. I have Black Panther as well. I just think that Chadwick Boseman just had such a presence in that movie, and I think that outside of Downey as Iron Man, I think I can't really see anybody else playing that role. I think that's why they decided to go in a different direction versus recasting it.
Yeah.
Now I have a couple that are a little different than you guys. I went with Rocket Raccoon. I think in terms of the Guardian series, I think he's the most fleshed out character. And if at first you kind of think he's going to be stupid, it's like it's a talking raccoon.
Yeah.
But then especially when you get to his story arc in 3 where it concludes, I just think it's just such a fit, like an awesome conclusion to that character's story. I just think he's probably the most well-rounded character of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I have the Winter Soldier. I think he's the perfect sidekick. I mean, he's been the sidekick to Captain America. He's been the sidekick to the Falcon. I mean, they had their own TV show together, for crying out loud. How many movies has Sebastian Stan been in now?
9.
9?
9.
Did you just fucking rattle that off the top of your head? Jesus Christ, that's amazing.
I know, and Adam's like, Adam hasn't slept since Monday.
It's true. It's all true.
And I was over here fucking sound like a moron, and Adam's like 9 right away.
Yeah, and see, like we didn't rehearse this beforehand. You know, it's not like I text like, "Hey, I'm going to bring up how many movies has Sebastian Stan been in." Just be quick with it.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, none of that happened here. Adam's just that damn good.
It's just one of those things that's stuck in my head. I'm like, yep, I know that number.
On a number 10 was tough. Now before I put this person in there, now are the Netflix Marvel shows are MCU canon, correct?
Correct. They are.
Okay. With that being said, I'm going with Daredevil as my number 10.
Okay.
I know I said that WandaVision was probably the best, and I just literally I had trouble finding my number 10 because there's so many worthy contenders. So I literally just came up with this 5 seconds ago. So forgive me, but Deadpool is that series is probably like in terms of like all 4 seasons, probably the strongest of the Marvel shows. I mean, I haven't seen the newest season yet, so
Daredevil.
yeah, I haven't seen the new Daredevil yet.
Okay.
But he's kind of like he's one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I think this is kind of like the best iteration of him in any like media, like whether it's TV shows or movies or whatever.
But Ben Affleck.
Don't even bring that up.
No. Mm-mm.
And plus, I think Daredevil actually proved that you could make compelling Marvel television shows, and the tone of the Daredevil shows was just completely different than anything Marvel had done before that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Daredevil's kind of like what DC was going with what they tried it with all their characters, but really it only worked with Batman, but kind of a more darker tone, and it worked.
Yeah. And even the new season of it is that same dark tone. Like Disney hasn't lightened it up really. It's really good.
Well, that's good. So yeah, Daredevil is my number 10. So that only leaves Adam.
Okay.
With his top 10.
All right. So I'll go with my criteria first. So my criteria was, importance. So how important are they to the MCU? So sorry, Mantis, but you're out of this one.
She already knew.
Right. She read my mind. And then gravitas and screen presence, just like how well they command the screen, how well they command your attention while they're on screen. Character development, how fleshed out they are, and then just, surprising underdogs. Like sometimes you don't think a character is going to be that great, and they end up being one of your favorite characters. So my list is, and this is my from top to bottom list in order. Iron Man. Can't have the MCU without Iron Man. I know it started with the Hulk, technically, but he was in the end of the Hulk, and the Hulk wasn't that great of a movie. So we're just not going to count that. Iron Man, it starts with Iron Man, bar none.
I think everybody agrees that the MCU started with Iron Man. I don't think the Hulk's even acknowledged that Ang Lee version.
Yeah. I mean, when you follow Tony Stark's storyline, even like because he's supposed to be a raging alcoholic in the comics, and I feel like they did that pretty well with his kind of playboy demeanor in the beginning, but they also gave him like a post-traumatic stress disorder that kind of led him astray. So I feel like they kind of paid homage to that. But his character development was really great. Second is Spider-Man. This is just my personal bias, but Spider-Man's the best Marvel character of all time.
Actually, now that I think about it, since we have decided that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all kind of qualify for this list, I know who is your Spider-Man. Mark, you had Spider-Man as well, and Lucas, you had Spider-Man too, right?
Yeah.
Which one are we? Is it Holland? I mean, I would imagine it would have to be Tom Holland.
I'm going to say Tom Holland because he has to.
Tom Holland, yeah.
One of the other movies now are canon, if you will. I'm going to say Tom Holland because it's more. I think it set itself above the other films at this point.
Well, I mean, I kind of figured. I just wanted for clarification purposes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be in the audience avatar here. I'm asking questions.
Right. It would have been Andrew Garfield if his movies weren't fucking absolute garbage shithole. Light them on fire. Not even enough to get rid of those things. Movies are fucking awful.
I want to be honest with the audience. The best Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire. Fight me. But Tom Holland is my pick for this list. So,
well, Adam, if you're going to fight somebody, would you please get some rest first?
Strung out over there.
I can take him. I know I can. No, had too much coffee. I think Captain America begrudgingly is on my list. God, his movies are so boring. And again,
I will fight you now.
Winter Soldier is good, but after that, just like, no, I can take him or leave him. I'll watch any other Marvel movie. Especially after that last Captain America. Gosh. Anyways, the Hulk is on my list.
Back up real quick. Are you talking about Captain America Civil War, or are you talking about Captain America Brave New World?
Brave New World.
Okay, I was going to say Captain America Civil War is fucking
Captain
awesome.
America. Yeah.
Not according to Adam, boring, apparently.
It was a snooze.
Brave New World was meh at best. But yeah, no, the other Captain Americas are snooze fest except for Winter Soldier, and it's not because of Steve Rogers either. It's totally the Winter Soldier, and he's a Marvel Superman, and Superman's a boring character too. The Hulk is my fourth pick. The entire Avengers movie centered around containing the Hulk, and he was even like a tool for Loki to take over and bring the airship down too. So I think and he was the one that snapped his fingers and brought everybody back. So I mean, got to be on there. Black Panther. Not only was his movie great, he had great screen presence, incredible actor. And I know that lots of people hate Disney for virtue signaling, but I think still that great representation, especially for a character of that magnitude, has to be on this list. Thanos, great villain. There's even a subreddit called Thanos Wasn't Wrong. I mean, if he's inspiring subreddits, he needs to be on this list. And plus he wins. Like, what villain do you know that wins? And then I have a different one on here. I have Kingpin.
Oh, okay.
And Kingpin is Vincent D'Onofrio. Let's look at Vincent D'Onofrio for a second. This guy was Edgar from Men in Black, right? You want me to put my hands on my head. And he goes from a villain like that to a villain that is so incredibly scary. And he's just a human. He doesn't have any superpowers or anything like that. He's incredibly strong. But he commands this criminal underworld, and he does so with just such poise. And I feel like he's even better than the comic book Kingpin, because the comic book Kingpin is a little brutish, and he like kind of escalates to his anger, and he checked all of my boxes for screen presence. Like, I think he's my favorite villain, like current villain since Thanos is dead, of the MCU. I really like Loki, but Loki ends up being an anti-hero. Kingpin is my favorite villain. Ant-Man. One of my criteria was, surprising underdogs. He's a surprising underdog. I didn't go into that movie thinking, oh man, Ant-Man, I have to see that. Like, Ant-Man, like, really? They're doing Ant-Man? Really great movie. And it's really relatable too, because honestly, I have two little girls of my own, and him and his little girl is just like, yep, I get it.
And Adam has done time in prison.
Right, yeah. Why do you think I'm so tired right now?
And you're willing to fight people.
Right. Loki is on my list. While being an excellent villain, he is a little bit lower on my list from Thanos and Kingpin. Like I said, he turns into an anti-hero. He becomes the god that he wants to be in the show. And I think that him ascending that throne and becoming the god he wants to be is a perfect send-off for him. And you get to watch his character development all throughout the MCU, because Thor is one of the first MCU movies. And then we get to, see him die in the beginning of Infinity War. And it's super sad. And I think that spoiler alerts, by the way, it's been a while, so
I don't think there's too many people
and,
haven't seen that movie, so I think you're
right,
good.
exactly, yeah. And then my last one is going to be a very, very different one from everyone else. It's going to be the Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe. And I say that not only because the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is canon, but he even influences Tom Holland in the movie. He's the driving force behind Tom Holland's anguish. And I've always said a good villain is one that makes the hero meet their own inner struggles and then overcome them. Like the villain isn't the struggle to the hero. The hero has their own inner struggles, and the villain makes them meet that. And I think that he does that in spades, even in the Tobey Maguire film. So I think that he deserves a spot on the list.
Okay. All right. Well, fellas, looks like it sounded like you did your homework, except for Lucas because he nominated Gambit. He's a little recency bias there. But yeah, good list, guys. Just from what I heard, we've got 4 unanimous selections, so these are the first 4 for sure. Everyone had Captain America on their list, right? Yeah, Iron Man was definitely like when I first come up with this, like Iron Man's the guaranteed lock.
Yep.
We all had Thor too, right?
Against and ends with Captain Iron Man.
Yeah.
Really. The core story.
Everyone had Thor too, right?
I did not have Thor.
Oh, you did not have Thor. Okay, so we only got 3 because then Black Panther's the third one.
Yeah.
So we got some fighting to do, gang. Well, speak of that. Let's start with Thor. I mean, I think so, just because the template was set with the first 3 movies, which were Cap, Iron Man, and Thor, and I mean, Thor's pretty much the only link to the original Avengers that's still like being featured in any of their upcoming properties. I mean, Black Widow is long gone. Iron Man's long gone. I don't think Jeremy Renner's coming back as Hawkeye anytime soon. Not after the interview I heard with him today, actually. And so, I mean, they said he's not coming back, but I mean, who knows if Chris Evans is coming back? But I mean, he's very important to the MCU, and it was cool to see his character kind of evolve too. Because I thought Thor in the first couple movies was fairly wooden, didn't really have much personality. Then, of course, like Ragnarok's, I mean, at least for me, one of the top 6 or 7 films in the MCU. I think it was just really kind of, they finally figured out how to utilize Chris Hemsworth properly. Because, I mean, Chris Hemsworth's got terrific comedic timing. And then I think they kind of went overboard a little bit with the Love and Thunder. But then, like, to me, like, Thor still has one of the greatest sequences in the MCU is when he comes to fight Thanos on Wakanda. That still gives me goosebumps. I think he's not quite on Captain America and Iron Man's level, but I think he's right below them in terms of importance to this whole franchise.
I agree. So I'm going to defend why I don't have him on my list.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that I don't think that he deserves a spot, because
you haven't
definitely
fucking slept apparently, and your brain's not working.
So no, he's not on my list because one of the boxes that I had was screen presence, and I feel like he did do a great job in Ragnarok, and he was a little wooden at the beginning, but overall, like, Thor's movie line doesn't have a good success rate. Thor's a pretty good movie, but it's not the best MCU movie. And then Ragnarok is really, really good, but then all the other movies kind of are meh. And his only other screen presence that he has is during the Avengers movies, especially when he's fighting Thanos. So that's the only reason he didn't make my list. He's a great character, and he's one of the OGs, and he deserves a spot on the list if you 3 have him, but that's why I didn't put him.
All right, well, right now we'll move Thor to a maybe. So if
the thing with Thor, though, Adam, one thing about Thor's first movie, it wasn't really an origin story. It kind of dropped us in the middle of what was going on with Thor. So that's why it comes off as wooden. And the villain itself was Loki, but we also had the Destroyer in there. That was a good callback to the comics at that point. If you know the character, but it's really cool. The second movie, well, a lot of people think it is not as good as it should have been or at all. The elf in it was decent in the books, just underutilized. The third movie,
the second movie might be good, but
I didn't say it was. I just said it wasn't the best either. So
I can see it.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
Right.
It's so dark.
Well, I don't think we're talking about the quality of the movies, though.
Right,
I think we're just talking about the characters themselves.
The third movie, Ragnarok, is actually kind of also based on it took liberties with what's called the Planet Hulk series or storyline.
Right. I'm familiar. Yeah.
So it's okay. And then the Love and Thunder is just, it took the gore storyline that was in the books as well and kind of made it more goofy, I guess.
Right. See,
but it's his appearance in the original Avengers. He offsets what Tony and Steve Rogers have going on with the highbrow, I'm the godlike person going on. You people are just fools, sort of thing. And that wouldn't as it may be, but it really worked with 3, and you have to do 3.
And I agree. Yeah.
Anybody else said, what's that?
I agree. He's great in the Avengers movies, but like I said, those fleeting moments don't lend to the character at all in the MCU.
More so than, say, the Green Goblin would, if we were to pick on somebody.
We'll get to those. All
right. Thor's a maybe.
Yeah, I would say Thor's a strong maybe. Spider-Man, I think I was the only holdout in that. I'm more than willing to put Spider-Man in there. I think Tom Holland, I didn't think anybody would be able to overtake Tobey Maguire as the definitive movie Spider-Man, but Tom Holland managed to do it. He's kind of everything that I like out of a Spider-Man. And plus he seems to look like an actual teenager. Whereas Tobey Maguire, even in the original ones, he kind of looks like he's 28.
No, he looks like he's a 40-year-old youth pastor in those too.
I was trying to be generous. So I'm trying to get Tobey Maguire on the show.
Tom Holland's banging Zendaya, so that's a bonus point.
Well, that has nothing to do with the character arc.
Everything to do with it.
All right, Lucas. Off topic, Lucas.
As the whole world knows, Lucas is taking his gas station boner pill. But go ahead, Mark.
Who are you pulling from your list if you're choosing Spidey?
Oh no, this is we're taking everybody's list and coming up with a full top 10.
But if you're going to go with somebody, you have to remove somebody.
Well, I would just take Daredevil off, since I literally thought of him 5 minutes before I said Daredevil. So. But I'm okay putting Spider-Man in.
All right, there you go.
And but I just, like I said, I think Tom Holland. It's just the character himself has shown kind of a remarkable growth. He's kind of like the eager one to prove everybody. He wanted to prove himself to Tony Stark, and then after Tony dies in Avengers, he has to deal with the loss of his mentor, and then he kind of has to grow up, and he ends up doing the responsible thing at the end of No Way Home. Yeah. I'm not going to spoil that because that movie's still fairly new, but
the only gripe I have with Tom Holland as Spider-Man is he seems like a creation of Tony Stark versus a creation of himself. But that's my only gripe.
Yeah,
he would become that character without Tony Stark, though. The situation would have called for it because he was still defending the planet against whatever the hell was going on. So
I just feel like they kind of
pigeonholed it a little bit with all the gadgets, giving him all the toys.
Yeah, that'd probably be the one thing that he doesn't need all that shit. All right, so What about Adam is the only one that does not have Lucas and Adam both don't have Loki on their list, so we'll go to Loki.
I had Loki on my list.
Oh, you did? Okay, so Lucas is the only
Yeah.
one that didn't have Loki, right?
I did not have Loki. No.
Okay. I think Loki should be on the list. I think he's by far the best Marvel villain they've had, and now he's kind of evolved, like you were saying earlier, Adam. He's kind of more of an anti-hero versus being a straight-up villain. But I think he was always the most well-written villain, which Marvel has struggled with writing good villains. Some are really good, some have been not so good. But Loki's always been good, even as we were discussing how bad the Thor: The Dark World is. Loki is the shining, like he
Agreed.
steals the movie from everyone in that. Plus, he's the main villain in the first Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it kind of shows you, like, they could have plucked anybody.
He was the Avengers' first villain.
Yeah, I mean, they could have plucked anybody from the entire MCU, but they chose an already established character to be the primary villain. So that shows you something. And plus, Tom Hiddleston's like fucking amazing. Like,
oh yeah,
no one's ever going to be able to play that role again for quite a long time.
That scene in the first Avengers movie when he's in Berlin and that one old man doesn't bow down to him, man, that's such a good scene.
Well, Lucas, what about you? You're the one that didn't have him on your list. I mean, like, do you have a compelling case why he shouldn't be on this?
I don't, and I think you guys made 3 good arguments. I think if three people make a good argument, you know, it's hard to make an argument against that, you know.
All right, so we're in agreement. We're putting Loki in.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is, I'm just trying to go over some, like, there's some I don't think, like, as an example, I like Hawkeye. Hawkeye is probably, outside of Spider-Man and Captain America, my favorite Marvel character. I fucking love Hawkeye. Like, I remember having the comic books as a kid. I really like Jeremy Renner as an actor, but he's always been, outside of the show that he had, he's always been kind of a sidekick character. He's not really been featured very prominently. And I mean, I know they established he lost his family in the Infinity War Endgame saga, but I don't think, when you look at the full scale of the MCU in all 36, 37 movies now,
Something like that. Yeah.
they're close to 40.
I used all of my
40.
Used all of my knowledge with the Bucky trivia. So,
but is Hawkeye one of the 10 best characters they've ever done in the entire MCU? Can you honestly sit there and say, like,
he wasn't on my list, so I can't argue against him. So I'll let the other
Mark, Lucas, I mean, he was on your guys' list. I don't think he's been featured enough to warrant being, like, when I think of Hall of Fame, like, just like, you're the best of the best, not just like, yeah, this guy was really, really good. I mean, it's not the Hall of very, very good. It's like, this is the elite of the elite. Can you guys make a compelling case for Hawkeye being like one of the 10 greatest Marvel characters in the entire film saga?
And you can't say because Nick Fury said he was great at the beginning. Nick Fury said so.
And this is coming from a Hawkeye fan, keep in mind. So I'm not trying to shit on the pick. I'm just like, I don't think he warrants a spot on the definitive list.
For me, one, you're right, Jerry Renner's portrayal was really good. The introduction of the character in Thor was far too less, you know? And if you know anything about the character, he did initially start out as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And was turned by the Avengers and Captain America himself. Though I kind of lean towards what Adam says, like, for me, removing him is because of screen presence. While his presence is there and noticeable when he's there, the Hall of Fame thing's kind of getting me where he's going to be dropped into the top 20 at least, if I'm going to take him out. I've always loved the character, but when it all comes down to it, he's still a guy with a bow and arrow and the whole scale of things. So, I don't know.
I guess when I was thinking of him, I was thinking of like, him being in the Avengers movie. He was, and you're right, he was Loki's sidekick in that movie. Before he was, like Black Widow's sidekick and everything else. And then I was thinking about his show, the Hawkeye show, which I guess wasn't even really his show either.
The girl is actually like the new Hawkeye. So the show is more or less bridging the gap between the old Avengers and the new Avengers so that they can do this new thing that we haven't gotten to yet.
Right. So I think I was more like, because I really loved the show. So maybe I was a prisoner of that in my mind when I was thinking about it.
Had a great villain.
Who is
We're gonna get to him.
The villain was Echo, Adam. Stop it.
No, the villain was not Echo. Echo turned to
the villain was Echo.
Echo tried to kill the
Okay, see?
Man, how many shows has he been the villain in? I fucking lost his name.
Kingpin?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just those two. He needs to be
Echo.
Yeah. Oh, Echo too. Yeah. So Echo, Hawkeye, and Daredevil, and he still they're hinting at it, I think, but he still needs to be in Spider-Man.
He does.
He really does.
He was. Yeah. You do know that he was the original Spider-Man villain first, right?
Right.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
All right, so we're leaving him off the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that brings me to. Let me take a look here and see who you guys got. That
I almost also have to come back to Thor, because if you're going to put Loki on the list, you got to put Thor on the list. You can't have one without the other.
That's a very good point.
I'm not going to let it go, because as far as
he's a better character than Thor,
so
Loki is a better MCU character than Thor.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston got the advantage of the villain doing the shining light. Obviously, that comes to play when like Jack Nicholson's the same with Michael Keaton. So, but you know, visually speaking too, if I'm going to pick on another character as well, and I'm going to pick on Russ a little bit, with Winter Soldier, good character, well fleshed out, really, really good. Visually on screen, I'm going to love seeing Thor swing his hammer and like smash somebody, more so than him seeing Winter Soldier like, and the Thunderbolt scene where he smashes the car, that was just beautiful. But Thor doing it, way better. Way, way better.
I don't know why you're going after me. I have Thor on my list.
Well, no, I'm just if I'm going to take somebody off, it's the first person I'm going after. So, I mean, Lucas has Doctor Strange on there too, and we haven't even started there. So,
yeah, I don't think Doctor Strange is one of the 10 best.
I had him on my list, and I removed him for Green Goblin because reasons. So,
what kind of reasons?
Just like I said, he has a better screen presence. He influences the hero more, makes them live up, overcome their inner turmoil. And without Green Goblin in the original Spider-Man, we would not have the MCU, as the villain wasn't believable, and we just wouldn't have the superhero movies that we have today. So,
okay, fair enough.
So, are we putting Doctor Strange as a maybe?
No, I don't know. People that are listening to this are not going to see your faces, but you guys all collectively said, "Go fuck yourself" with your faces. We don't talk about Doctor Strange, so we'll go ahead.
Who would agree with you, Lucas?
We'll throw him in the trash for now.
Joey would agree with you, Doctor Strange.
All right, we have the Scarlet Witch. I know she appeared on many of our lists, but not everybody's list. So, Mark, why would the Scarlet Witch not? Because it's you and Adam that didn't have her on there, right?
Right. It's another character I actually grew up and read a lot of in the books. The portrayal in the movies is pretty close to the point. And I mean, I didn't care that they killed off Quicksilver to give her that angst that was just unnecessary. She already had it built in with the way they Hydra trained her, if you will. I don't know. I mean, I just don't like her on the top 10 list. I like other characters ahead of her. I mean, I don't think it's a bad character. But at this point, it's not really a likable character. The Doctor Strange movie kind of when she has a good point for what she's doing, but she becomes the villain as well.
She's not a very good villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, you could argue she was a villain in WandaVision too.
Right.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
But she's the whole reason WandaVision happened. So.
Yeah, but see, the way they did WandaVision, she didn't seem like the villain, see, it was WandaVision just an anomaly. It was so good. I don't know how to explain it. It was good, but it doesn't lend to her character in the whole of the MCU.
She's been a character in the books at some point that's been redeemed on numerous occasions. In the movies, I don't think there's going to be any redemption for the character or a comeback unless they find a decent way to write her back in.
How crappy is it? They're going to have Magneto in the Doomsday movie, but they're not going to have her. Come on, that would have been such a cool meetup.
And that's the thing. It's the writing that sways me from wanting her on the list because I don't see any value in the character at this point. You know? It was a good foil for the Doctor Strange movie, but there's people, and I like the Doctor Strange madness thing, but I talk to other people, they don't care for it at all. They don't like it in one bit. It's soured over time for some reason. And I'd have to watch it again to see if it still sits.
Well, I think a good argument for Scarlet Witch is she is a really good bridge from the old Avengers, the original phase of the Avengers to the newer ones.
Agreed.
Because, you have WandaVision. I don't know how many people liked it or not, but I really liked Agatha all along. And she is kind of a continuation of WandaVision, sort of.
I saw it at the end, but I liked what I saw.
It was The Wizard of Oz. I didn't like it at all. They literally just retold The Wizard of Oz. It was like AI spit out the.
And what you're saying, Lucas, how she bridged the gap in the original books, the Avengers had a kind of a consistent group of people that were on the team, and then they went from one point to having Captain America, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, and the big theme of that was that the Captain America was leading these three other characters that were originally villains to some redemption. So if the movies show that for this character, I would beef her up, but I don't see her here. I'm more willing to put Adam's Kingpin on the list than I am that just because of Vincent D'Onofrio. Without anything.
If we were doing a most powerful MCU character, Scarlet Witch would make the list. She could have killed Thanos. Just with her own power. I mean, 100% stronger than 90%.
I mean, you can't really explain her power in the movies. So weird, and even in the books, it's sometimes kind of vague. It's more clear now, but it's vague. Is that she had what they called the way.
Mark, take your heart pill.
She had the means to alter probabilities. So, one example is if somebody's standing somewhere, she could do what they call a hex, and the ground would open up underneath them, as a vague example. So she can do all kinds of messed up things to Thanos. In the book, she's been bonded with the Darkhold book, which we saw in the movies, which I'm not sure where that transpired in the comics.
So shorten it up. She's a maybe.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. She's
All
a
right,
maybe.
put her in a maybe. Okay. Next one, we have Thanos. He was in most of our lists, but not all of them.
He was in mine, yeah.
I think Lucas was
wasn't in mine. Yeah, he wasn't in mine. But you can make a good argument for him to be in it because he's the main reason that
he's the antagonist for basically the first 19 movies.
He's the reason that the Avengers came together at all in the first place. So,
and he really is really good as like Josh Brolin's amazing as Thanos. I mean, that could have easily, if he wasn't any good, it could have easily fallen apart. Like, oh fuck, this is what they're fighting for. This guy sucks.
Yeah,
but no, Josh Brolin's really good.
The spoiler alert, obviously, the part where she sacrifices Gamora for the one other stone. I mean, it was hard to watch. It's just like, oh shit, they just did that.
You know, Russ and I are wrestling fans. Kind of reminds me of something that I heard Triple H say. You can be a villain. It could be the dumbest reason ever, but you have to believe it. And he really makes you like think about what he says. Like, it's fucked up to think about killing 50% of a population to make things better, but it kind of makes sense a little bit. And it's you feel awful for thinking that way, but it's
right. Yeah, he's the reason for the subreddit. Thanos wasn't wrong. Right. I think that when it comes to being a good villain, there's a couple of, I've mentioned, you have to make your hero overcome something, but being a good villain also requires that they have to believe that they're right. They have to have a good conviction. All villains think that they're right. What they're doing is the right thing to do. And I think he brings that in spades.
Yeah, I mean, I think just, he kind of like boost up like Tony and Captain America too, just because of how good he is. It's like, okay, it elevates the heroes to another level too, because like now they've got some severe adversity to like how they gonna beat this guy.
Yeah. Oh man, when he fights,
just didn't vote back.
Mm-hmm. When he fights Iron Man for the first time, and he says something, he uses his name. He says Stark, and he's like, "You know my name?" Like, I do, and that's so chilling. Like, oh, okay, I've never met you, but you know who I am. That's kind of scary,
right? So, is Thanos going in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking, there's not too much more. I know Lucas and Adam had the Incredible Hulk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, do you want me to argue for the Hulk?
Yeah, go ahead and argue for the Hulk.
Okay, so
are
obviously
before you begin though, are we doing? So he's been played by two actors in the MCU. Are we talking about Edward Norton's Hulk, or are we talking about Mark Ruffalo's Hulk? Now, see, once again though, I'm the audience avatar. This is shit I want to know about.
Okay, we are not even considering Edward Norton's Hulk.
Okay.
If we did, we would not be a very good podcast. So sorry, what Edward Norton. I don't.
Wait a minute, this is a good podcast, but go ahead.
You almost, well, you kind of have to now.
Yeah. So, Bruce Banner, the Hulk. He is probably one of the most compelling characters. One of my favorite scenes in all of the MCU is when Black Widow goes to recruit him for the Avengers, and he talks about killing himself. Like, that's such a chilling scene when he's like, I tried to put a bullet in my mouth and the other guy spit it back out. That's such a cool line. And like I said in the original Avengers, he's one of the main plot points. they have an entire system to keep him contained. And Loki actually makes everybody argue to bring out the Hulk. That was his plan, to break everybody up. Like, the Hulk is one of the main plot points of the original Avengers. And going forward, we see him in Ragnarok, and we get to explore a little bit more of the Bruce Banner character. And he's also one of the biggest characters in Avengers Endgame. Yeah, he's Professor Hulk at that point. He's not as cool, he's not smashy, but he still helps them create a time machine to where they can go and grab the Infinity Stones. And he's the one that snaps his fingers and brings everybody back. He's part of the original.
Which Iron Man or Thor could have done.
Iron Man or Thor could have done. But of course, we all know Iron Man died because of it. And Thor probably would have been very much mained. I think that Hulk, being one of the original Avengers, being so prominent in Marvel and not just the MCU, deserves a spot on the list.
Okay. Mark, you did not have the Hulk ranked on your top 10. Reason why?
I just and I wanted to put him on there. And I struggled with it as well. Track record with the Hulk. We got a bad movie. We got an okay movie. We got the Avengers movies. I've read the Hulk since the 80s. I had a really solid run, like 130 some issues through the 90s. I just don't think the character's still fleshed out enough to put him on this list.
Well, the reason why is because Disney can't make a standalone Hulk movie.
Well, I know that. We all know. Neither could Universal or the other people that had him.
No, Universal can. If they wanted to, they easily could. It's... Oh,
they can't lose the rights to it, so...
Yeah, it's just... it's something to do with, like, he could be... It's kind of like how Spider-Man and Sony and Disney have that partnership, but, like, it's a little more complicated with...
Universal and Disney. We were cheated by having the Hulkbuster suit in the in Endgame and not the actual Hulk, which would have been visually a much satisfying. Or not in Endgame, in Infinity Wars.
I think that
way better.
They did, and honestly, they did that because if the Hulk was on the battlefield, like, they would have easily beaten the army. Like, it would have been no contest.
I think they intentionally nerfed some characters. Like you were saying, Scarlet Witch could kill Thanos by herself. So could Captain Marvel.
Right, which is why Captain Marvel was in space and Scarlet Witch was worried about Vision. Like, they nerfed all those characters so that they wouldn't win instantly.
They gave him writer's block, if you will.
Yeah.
So, did the same with the Hulk. Yet again, it's a song. He's a character that's a strong case to be on the list, but yet again, I don't think he's fleshed out enough to add him at this point.
Do you think he needs his own movie that's not fucking awful?
Well, the thing is they've added bits and pieces to it too. They've introduced his son, which is, I don't even remember it was the end of what? What was the end of it where his son showed up? Which was it, end of She-Hulk?
Yeah, it was She-Hulk.
I haven't watched it a second time, so
I didn't watch it a first time.
Well, I forgot about She-Hulk.
I watched the highlights. It was bad.
Well, the She-Hulk show was actually like really close to the way the comics were. From somebody,
I didn't think it was bad. I just forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I have too, as I haven't watched it the second time. But there's so much stuff out now; it's hard to keep up too. But the show actually like adds to the Hulk's flavor to the list because he helps his cousin Jennifer She-Hulk to be a Hulk, if you will.
That's what the character's name, yeah. Jennifer She-Hulk. I guess
Jennifer Walters is the character's name.
I thought.
Yeah, I boxed it up. I totally.
She's a lawyer. So. She's a lawyer. She legally changes her last name to She-Hulk. Jennifer She-Hulk.
Jennifer She-Hulk. So.
I'm going to put the Hulk down as a maybe. I purposely left him off my list more just to have like a conversation about him, because I think like his role in the MCU is very fascinating to me. I think the character is actually very well fleshed out, because he's gone from being someone, at least Ruffalo's interpretation of him, he's gone from someone who almost hates the fact that he's the Incredible Hulk, and then he's kind of morphed over time, and then like now he's kind of a little bit more of a comedic character. It would be nice to see him feature in a you know, a large role, and I know that they can't do that, but I think he's very good, and I probably would have had him in my top 10, but I left him off just to have a conversation about him.
You just wanted to have a rage fight, you know? You wanted to Hulk out.
Now, I will say that and this isn't like a knock on Ruffalo or the character itself. I've kind of missed like the Hulk that we all know and love. He's kind of become more like the Doc Brown of the MCU.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put him down as a maybe.
The character did have that version of him, if you will, but it's gone through, and that was the 90s version. It's gone through like 4 different versions. They're on kind of a horror Hulk right now. That's
one more argument for the Hulk. They left him off the elevator on Stark Tower, so he needs to be on this list so he can be included.
Which made Loki come back to life.
Right.
Good Adam, plot device.
All right. I think that pretty much does it for like multiple nominees. So now we've kind of just got like the small odds and ends. Like we each kind of had like somebody that was different. So I'm going to call this part of the program. You fight for your pick. So basically you can like pick somebody from your list, and you try to make a compelling case to have them included in the maybe pile. Because we've got 4 right now. We've got 6 definitive, and we've got 4 maybes, and then now we've got just, I guess this kind of gives us a way to kind of at least discuss some of the other nominees here. So, Mark, I'll go with you first.
Why you gotta go first?
Because you're our guest, and I'm trying to be polite. God damn it!
Right.
You're gonna go and you're gonna like it.
I'm gonna like
tough fucking shit.
I want Nick Fury on the list. I do.
Okay, make your case.
Samuel L. Jackson is perfect in the role. He's the one that, you know, united the Avengers. He brought all the other characters subtly in and out of the story. Like they wouldn't even know about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver without his intel. He was one of the plot devices in Captain America: Winter Soldier. Secret Invasion was painful but necessary, because you get a different aspect of the character, and it's just that was just Marvel lore they were throwing out there that was just nobody wanted to see in that vein, if you will.
It kind of like nobody wanted to see Secret Invasion.
Well, they just did it wrong. It's that simple. So, I mean, if you can't, Sam's just there. Plus the fact that you can drop him in to the storyline now, and it would work just fine.
Okay.
And he has great screen presence. I mean, what was his first line in the Marvel? One of the first lines in the Marvel Universe, or at the end. I am Iron Man. Really?
I thought I'd say what again, motherfucker. I dare. No.
Yeah. So my argument.
It's also one of those characters that popped up that you're like, okay, shit's going to go down now.
All right. So, well, we'll table like the debate, but I just want you pick one character from your.
Okay.
So you're going with Nick Fury,
right?
Is your maybe? So I'll just, since I can't be a hospitable host, to be polite. So Adam, you go next. Sorry, Lucas.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Apparently, fuck you, Lucas. Apparently,
I was formerly a guest here.
All right. So
Lucas, you still have your if there's any ever financial kickback for the show, you got your kickback, so.
Yeah.
No, he signed a contract. He gets no financial windfall from this at all. Adam's been featured in more episodes. Adam gets more.
He's got 4 damn kids. He needs that financial kickback.
I took the original picture of us recording the first episode. God damn it. I was there.
We'll make merch and you can get the residuals from that, Lucas. We'll have your face on the merch.
I sound like a fucking bloodsucker for here, just leeching off of you guys. Like, yes, go make this successful while I quit, and you bitches make me money.
So, if we're picking one character from the list that nobody else had, I'm going to pick Kingpin. I think he deserves a spot on the list more than any of the other people that I had on my list that you guys didn't. Again, I argue Vincent D'Onofrio is, honestly, I'm just blown away by his performance as Kingpin. I didn't necessarily like Kingpin as a character that much. I liked him as a villain in Spider-Man because Spider-Man has the best villains. But when it comes to the MCU, he pulls off that darker tone of Daredevil. I mean, he smashed a guy's head in a car door. They even one-upped that in the new series. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but Disney was like, "Hold my beer."
I know what happens. Pick me. I know.
Disney was like, "Hold my beer. I'm gonna make this even more gratuitous." He's super strong. He is one of the main villains for Spider-Man, but also Daredevil and now Hawkeye and Echo as well. He's appeared in so many Marvel franchises at this point. I think that he deserves a spot on an actual movie. And his backstory that they've built for him in the MCU is just phenomenal. It's great. Love the fact that he killed his dad with a hammer. I mean, I sound like a crazy person for saying that, but like,
you love that, huh?
Love it because it creates, because his dad was a jerk. He beat his wife and like he wanted to save his mom. So like you kind of relate to him in a way of like, yeah, no, his dad's a jerk. I really got what was coming to him. A lot of villains, you're like, oh, they're evil for just being evil. He was molded to be a psychopath, and he really shows it, and he's honestly really scary. I honestly think that when it comes to villain scariness, it's Thanos and then Kingpin. So he is my nominee for this.
Yeah, and plus he's a TV character, which we don't have on this yet. Well, Scarlet Witch, technically.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, so Lucas.
Wait, do you guys you guys haven't, you've seen the new show, right, Adam? But you guys haven't seen Daredevil yet, right?
I have not got a chance to sit down and watch Daredevil yet. Now
you've seen the new one?
We can't talk about it.
I've seen Daredevil. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't know what he does in the new movie at all, like even vaguely, or in the new show.
Right, we can't talk about it, but
okay, all right,
good.
I can do it.
I literally thought you were just like, you haven't seen it yet, then just go fucking spoil it for me and our audience here that's not seen it yet either.
No, it's a plot device, and I'm not going to give it away. So,
all right. Well, Lucas, who you fighting for?
Oh God, let's see if I can bring out a coherent thought at all in this podcast. I'm going to go with Doctor Strange.
Well, we have Doctor Strange on the maybe list already, so
that was like the only one that I didn't have, right?
Yeah, so is that who you're fighting for?
He's on the maybe list?
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier.
We put him on the maybe list.
I don't think he did. Okay.
Fuck it, I'll fight for fucking Ant-Man then. I'll fight for the little guy.
There you go. Literally the little guy.
The little guy. So you gotta, when you have all that tension and masculinity in there, you got to have a little superhero that comes in that is just kind of a bitch, and that's Ant-Man. that comic relief right in the middle of all the masculinity.
Have a good day, Spider-Man.
Man.
I'm not at all talking about myself in the middle of this podcast with you three. Anyway, Ant-Man, very important to the story. He he rescued one of your characters that you nominated for the Hall of Fame there, Russ. Rocket saved him from drowning in Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
He discovered God, what the hell is that world called? The very tiny world, the quantum realm, which was important to originally to try to help defeat Thanos. It didn't end up happening, but Scott Lang, look out for the little guy. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I really don't have a good argument for Ant-Man other than you just need that kind of lovable idiot amongst all of the amazing, strong superheroes and the underdog. He's the ultimate underdog. He's, without the suit, he's just he's a thief, but
a good one.
He's a good thief.
He's not that good of one. He gets spent time in prison. No one will ever confuse Scott Lang for Danny Ocean.
But he's the lovable underdog. You don't expect him to come through when you have a Captain America, an Iron Man, a Spider-Man, a Doctor Strange, a Scarlet Witch, but he does. He always comes through when they need him the most, and you don't expect it just because he's not super strong. He's not super smart. He's not a main character, really. But you always need him, and he's always there.
Okay. So that's
Lucas is very compelling. Lucas is compelling because and Paul Rudd plays the role to the T without even.
Yeah.
He does really good.
He looks the same as he did in Clueless.
He doesn't age at all. Oh, I love that joke in Deadpool. It's like, oh yeah, Paul Rudd finally.
The year that Endgame came out, I had actually gone to C2 or a comic book convention in Chicago and went to the panel for Clueless with Paul Rudd was there. And he goes, so Endgame. Stuff happens, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well, he punches one of those Shitori worm things. I forget what they're called, but giant Ant-Man
exactly
punches
what
one
they're
of
called,
them.
actually.
Yeah, giant worm things.
The character itself is one of the original Avengers as well, but not the Scott Lang version. The Hank Pym version was the original Avenger.
Mm.
So
Hank Pym doesn't make the list.
He does not. He's not.
Wasn't going to put him on there.
I'm fighting for Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite characters in the MCU. Probably in terms of his story arc, probably one of the best in the entire franchise. I think he's the best thing about the Guardians movies. He's got the best lines, but in 3, you kind of get to see why he is the way he is. And I think just that arc, and then he kind of comes full circle. Like he finally, after he loses his family, because he's, all these animals are being experimented on, he kind of comes full circle and the Guardians become his family.
Yeah.
I just think the whole story, and then Bradley Cooper just does an amazing job. When I heard about the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, okay, there's a talking tree, there's a fucking raccoon, the guy from Parks and Rec, and then of course Zoe Saldana's an established actor, but I didn't think that a talking raccoon would work. This makes no sense because I got Howard the Duck vibes when I heard about Rocket Raccoon. They're going to feature him in the Guardians movie, and Bradley Cooper just pulls it off. He's easily he's one of those characters. Even though he's not a featured character in any of the movies, is okay, when are we going to get more Rocket Raccoon? And there's not too many characters in this universe that you could say that about. At least in my opinion. It's I can't wait for him to come back on the screen.
Bradley Cooper also pulls off being a handsome son of a bitch.
That he does.
Yeah.
And America thinks that too. So that's my pick is Rocket Raccoon. So I'm pretty sure he probably won't make the cut, but he's in mine. So right now, our definitive list is Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Loki, and Thanos. They're in. So now we've got 4 spots, and we've got 8 names to whittle it down from.
So we got to cut it by half.
Yeah.
All right. So who do we have on the maybe?
The maybe list is Thor, Doctor Strange, the Scarlet Witch, the Incredible Hulk, Nick Fury, Kingpin, Ant-Man, and Rocket Raccoon.
Okay. I think Thor should make the list.
I think Thor should make the list. Mark makes a good point. Like, hero is only as good as his villain. I think that goes the other way too.
Mm-hmm.
And plus,
he's a bad adopted brother.
And I mean, Thor is, I had never thought even though Black Widow got her own movie, I never seen her as like one of the featured Avengers. I always thought it was, Thor, Cap, and Iron Man. And I mean, the fact that Thor's still featured in that, he's like the last link to that original series. So I think he has to be in.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
All right, so we're putting Thor in. Harumph.
God.
Doctor Strange. I am personally not a huge Doctor Strange fan, so I'm probably going to be a little bit more cynical when it comes to this.
Again, you're supposed to be. It's an argument.
Again, if it were
the character's played well, it's done well, it's portrayed well, definitely. For me, to the core, Doctor Strange is not an Avenger. That's why it doesn't work for me on this list. And I don't say that the people on this have to be Avengers, but the core of the films revolve around that. And Doctor Strange is more of if you know the comic, he's more of a defender, not the Avengers. He's not a team player, if you will.
Well, I mean, I don't think the conversation, though, is not really whether he fits in with the Avengers. Just like the movies themselves, like, are these the best characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
His character, even though he has multiple movies, is not developed enough. If this were a who's the most powerful in the MCU, maybe he makes part of the list. But again, he's just not as integral to the plot, other than the Time Stone, to the MCU as a whole.
Well, he also brings everybody into the fight in Endgame.
Again, yeah, but that's just a plot device. That's not him as a character. Like, they could have portaled somehow other than Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is a really convenient way to do it, but,
if you're going to make an argument for, like, Doctor Strange or Ant-Man, I want to go with Ant-Man more so, because why are we doing this? We're doing it for the little guy, and Ant-Man's the little guy. Doctor Strange is a doctor that got his conscience worked out by magic, if you will.
Yeah.
So, not a bad character. He's not a bad character at all. I get it, but if you're doing a top 20, that's where he falls. Not top 10.
Yeah. I'd like to think my impassioned speech about the little guy really turned the tide for me.
I'm going with Lucas.
So. I'm really leaning towards Ant-Man too.
I don't know.
Ant-Man has 3 movies. Doctor Strange only has 2, and who knows if we'll see a third one.
We don't count the third Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Wasn't that bad?
It was.
We have to. It's there.
When I watched some of those for a second time, some of those like latter ones of like, yeah, these are not as good as I originally thought they were.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man in the Quantum, that one's not good. It's pretty rough.
It's very rough, and it has so many plot holes.
Well, what I don't understand is what happened with the writers where they were just like, all right, let's just make everybody fucking stupid goofy. Like that was their transition from
COVID happened.
in game. Maybe they were just like, this is way too serious. We got to make it a little dumber.
They all had COVID brain. They all got COVID and had COVID brain.
Somebody at Disney went, this made how much money? Okay, come on, we need more of this.
It didn't work.
It didn't work, no.
But Ant-Man, solid contender for getting off the maybe list. Who else do we have on the maybe list? We just have Thor, and then there's 7 others,
there's the
right?
Incredible Hulk. I am all about putting the Incredible Hulk on here.
I think so. I think he deserves a spot just because he's an OG and how I know it's not really a criteria, but he's very much a huge part of Marvel, not just the MCU. And I really like the character.
Yeah, the Hulk.
Yeah.
And plus, like throughout his appearances in the MCU, he's like, there's been like more layers to his character being added.
Yeah,
because I mean, even in Infinity War, he kind of shows a little bit of cowardice because he's like very leery about even being in the Hulkbuster suit. You know what I mean? And that's not like a superhero's like you're kind of leery about like defending the Earth. You're the Incredible Hulk, for crying out loud. And plus, he struggled with like not being able to turn back into him when he wanted to. I think there's incredible depth to Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of him.
So one of the reasons why, and sorry, I'm gonna bash on Captain America here a little bit.
All right, well, that's been it, folks.
One of the reasons why I think some superheroes are more compelling than other superheroes is that they have flaws. And you relate to those flaws, and you get to see the hero overcome them. And Captain America doesn't have any of that. Hulk has it. I don't know.
I think Captain America does. He's trying to,
he was like 4'2", and then he fucking turned into a 6'1" beautiful man.
He got injected with magic serum, and now he's overcome all of his flaws. I can relate to that so much.
Well, no, I mean, Captain America, though, he's just trying to, he's from a different time, and he's not always able to adapt to being in, modern society.
So he's Philip J. Fry.
You feel like you don't fit in. I mean, and everybody struggled with that at one time or another.
Except for Lucas. When he was in the elevator with all the bad guys, and he figured it out.
Yeah, it's a cool scene, but he's a boring character. Anyways, the Hulk has flaws, and that makes him a compelling character. There we go.
So I like the Hulk to be in there too. The only version of the Hulk that I don't like, besides that original turd of a fucking movie that needs to be nuked,
it's a great art film.
Is the latest version of the Hulk that we've seen, where he's half, the Doctor and half Hulk. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's not as great as I'd like it to be. But
I kind of yearn for him to get back to Smash and shit.
Yeah, just beat the shit out of people. Grab Loki by his fucking leg and slam him again.
But that's not a reflection on Mark Ruffalo's portrayal. It's just more like Marvel
writing.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I think Mark Ruffalo has been great. I just fucking hate the way that character looks.
Mm-hmm. He has more chest hair for some reason.
2 more spots.
Nick Fury, I don't think he's top 10. He's just not featured enough. He's just kind of like the guy that brings everybody together. But
I'm great. I'm a huge fan of Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, don't get me wrong. So am I.
One of his biggest flaws, though, is that when he's in a movie, he's Samuel L. Jackson. He's not that character. He just plays Samuel L. Jackson in every single movie. He doesn't switch characters at all. He just plays the same guy, which is fine. I love the actor, love the guy. I love him in Jurassic Park, love him in Pulp Fiction. Like, he's even great.
Just keep in mind, just saw Revenge of the Sith. Adam, you're wrong.
No, same guy. He just doesn't say motherfucker. Nope. No. He would have been like, Emperor Palpatine, you're under arrest, motherfucker. Like, he would have if it weren't George Lucas writing it.
But honestly, I think I wouldn't have a problem with Nick Fury being in it if it wasn't for Secret Invasion. That show is so bad that it fucking ruins his character for me.
Yeah,
I can
no,
This is a slow, drawn out spy story with space stuff thrown into it. And it's like, I read this stuff, so I'm like, I kind of get it. And I didn't really read the Secret Invasion when it came out in the books. I was just like, wow, they could have done this so much. They could have done it right, but they trashed it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't think Nick Fury makes it.
I think, like you said, Doctor Strange is a top 20, not a top 10. That's where I'd put Nick Fury.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, he's off the list. The Scarlet Witch.
Again, she's got a lot of good material. She's compelling as a character, but she's one of the top 20 people. She just is.
All right, Lucas, Mark, you guys got anything to add?
No.
we have to put somebody on the list. We're kind of getting rid of we're dropping all these people in the top 20, and we still need two more people.
If we drop enough, the last two will be in by default.
Well, let me put it to you like this. I would put the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange in before I put Ant-Man in there.
Oh no, I'm totally on Lucas's side now. Like
I'm gonna go more for Ant-Man.
See, I can't, like, Ant-Man, like, just hasn't really, like, he's been, fine, but, like, in the grand scheme of things, when you look 20 years down the road, are you gonna remember Ant-Man in the MCU?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
100%. 100%. If it weren't for the quantum realm, they would have found the Infinity Stones, and half of the population wouldn't have been brought back. It's just he's the crux. He's the guy that did it.
I don't find him to be that compelling enough. Those movies are fine, but they're not that's not top tier Marvel. And I mean,
I don't know.
Paul Rudd is fine,
movies.
but it's not a top tier performance.
Ant-Man is one of my favorite Marvel movies, and it's because of Paul Rudd.
Oh no, hey, I'm not shitting on Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's a national treasure. Like, that dude deserves his own, like, he needs to be on the face of some currency in the United States, whether it's like replace, Andrew Jackson, or, hell, fucking replace Benjamin Franklin. Put Paul Rudd on the $100 bill. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Well, Benjamin Franklin was never president. Paul Rudd doesn't have to be president. He can be on the $100 bill. I wholeheartedly agree.
I guess let's go this route, because we got like a three-way tie going on. It's hard. So let's do this. If we make another Ant-Man movie, we're going to go see it. More so if they make another Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah. Yes.
I am on board as saying, like, unless the MCU gets their shit together, I'm not going to see any movie of theirs. If they fuck up the Fantastic Four. But I would be more inclined to see another Doctor Strange movie, because there's a lot more avenues you can go into with a Doctor Strange movie than you can Ant-Man.
Lucas?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I would go see both. I'm not really good at this argument because I had them both on my list.
Right.
I'm still in the Ant-Man camp.
Okay, so we need to find another swing.
All right.
So we never mentioned Star-Lord, but it never came up. So I'm not gonna
he was not the character you wanted to fight for.
Yeah.
I have Rocket Raccoon.
I think Rocket Raccoon definitely deserves to be on this list, but I know I'm going to lose this battle already. He's a much more compelling character than anybody else on this list.
I beg to differ. Kingpin is a way more compelling character than Rocket Raccoon.
All right.
He's more important to the MCU.
That's not entirely true, but go ahead.
I don't think he's more important than the MCU, Adam. That's for sure.
Then Rocket Raccoon? I'm sorry, but the Guardians of the Galaxy were plenty of different characters than just Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, it's true.
About the book.
That's true.
He currently is the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right. But
I will say, I think Kingpin was probably one of the better parts of the new Daredevil series, which, in my opinion, differs from Mark and Adam. I thought a lot of that show was very boring. I thought it was boring as shit. There was episodes where I was like, can this just be over so we can see what happens next time?
Well, we'll have that conversation minus Russ until Russ is caught up. So,
Right. And you don't always need.
I have things to say about it. So,
yeah, you don't always need action to make something compelling.
Yeah, no, I know. I watch dramas. I watch dramedies. All right. I just thought some of it was very boring, but
okay. So
what are we? Who are we down to? We're down to Ant-Man, Rocket, Kingpin,
and the Scarlet
and
Witch.
we need two.
Scarlet Witch.
We dropped Doctor. Never mind. Yeah, Didn't we drop Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange?
Yeah, we did.
Where'd you go, Lucas?
So we're basically down to Kingpin, Ant-Man, Rocket Raccoon.
Timers went out. His computer died.
Rocket Raccoon.
No, Lucas is just now.
His lights are just off.
I'm still here. You're getting rid of me out of you.
Well, we don't need to pick two. I still want to know the villain on the list, Adam. That's my problem with it.
I think that
but I mean, you're right. You have to have a villain. I think the Kingpin exists like without Daredevil, without Spider-Man, without Echo. His mania is there regardless. You don't need him to have a foil in any sense. It wasn't really something that drove him. He was already self-driven. So, so it's just like.
But does it limit him that he's a regional villain? Like he's only New York. He's not.
I
he's
don't
not
think
anywhere outside of New York.
I mean, that being said, Russ's Rocket argument is better because it has much greater scale. It has.
And we're at an impasse because I would take Kingpin over Rocket.
I would take Kingpin over Rocket as well.
I would take Rocket over Kingpin.
Wow, this is gonna be a hard fight.
You know what? We may just have a top 8. Fuck it.
So okay, Rocket Raccoon's cool. All right, but let's judge it on the coolness scale here. So Kingpin has and this isn't in the MCU really, but I'm gonna make this argument anyways. He has a vault that has a door with no lock that is just very, very heavy. And the only person that can move it besides him is Spider-Man. That's cool. He doesn't have to have any other security other than the door super heavy because he's peak human. He's a human. He doesn't have super soldier serum. He's not like, some mutant or anything like that. He's just a really strong guy. And he smashes people's heads in. Like, that's a cool villain.
And we call that leverage.
Yeah.
Or leverage.
There you go. It's leverage.
Leverage.
We should have leverage in this debate. There we go. That's his leverage.
All right. I'll see your heavy door with he's a talking raccoon.
That's obsessed with guns and bombs.
I'm going to take that guy's eye.
That is fucking funny. I need his leg.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rocket. If for us to talk entertainment value,
he's entertaining.
Causes me some serious angst.
He is very entertaining.
On a really serious personal level, Rocket doesn't do that. I need his leg.
But for me, I don't think Rocket's any better of a character than Groot or.
Oh, Rocket's a much better character than Groot. He's a much better character than Groot. That's
Drax does the same thing though, and Drax has an emotional backstory too.
Agreed. Yeah, it's not as fleshed out, but I agree. Like Drax and even Star-Lord has an emotional backstory. The entire Guardians franchise is just so great because the characters are so well written. You can't make an argument for
you say that, and then you say that. Then I watched the third movie, and I realized that the High Evolutionary is the villain in the movie, and I kind of go, "Oh God." It's one of those highbrow villains that Marvel has that you're kind of like going, oh, yeah, I forgot they did that.
Yeah.
All right.
See, when it comes,
I'll put it to you like this. Since we seem to be arguing more over Kingpin versus Rocket Raccoon, let's just put Kingpin and Rocket Raccoon and call it a day.
All right.
Okay. Because of the time,
I would take both of them over Ant-Man.
Okay. Agreed.
That's our
I guess the point too is if they're going to make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie as opposed to making an Ant-Man movie, I'm going for the Guardians, except for the fact that we're not going to get James Gunn doing it ever again, sadly.
Okay.
So,
and to your point, Mark, we're going for movies. You do a Guardians movie or a movie with Kingpin as a villain or one of the characters. That is much more compelling than Ant-Man.
You guys are leaving me to go with just Joey. So
the reason they'll sell me on the Kingpin totally is if they make him a Spider-Man villain, and that
they will.
That vein. They will.
and by the way, I love Joey.
You and I are going to
point that out. I love you, Joey.
Oh no, I would go with you and Joey if I wasn't an old man and I didn't smack my face and need life alert. But you know,
Joey hates my guts, so I have no dog in this fight. All right, so we're in agreement. Rocket and Kingpin get in.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so finally, after much debate and me sending Adam $20 to go with my final resolution, the Couch Brotato
Podcast. Go to bed.
Well, I mean, I've got to get up in like 6 hours and I've got all day to rock out, but that's another story for another day. So the Couch Brotato Podcast MCU Character Hall of Fame is as follows in no particular order, so no one's feathers get ruffled. Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Loki, Thanos, Thor, The Incredible Hulk, Kingpin, and Rocket Raccoon.
All right.
Are we good with that?
Fun
I think
list.
that's a solid list.
All right. We've come to an accord.
Harumph.
Harumph.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it's been a blast debating this. I think we had a spirited conversation over this.
This has been a master debate.
And Adam just sent me a text, says he hates my guts. But
it's not true. Fake news.
I just sent you $20, man. All right. But yeah, it's been fun, guys. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on social media. We're pretty much everywhere. Hit us up on the wherever you go for social media. Just hit up the description in the show notes. We got all the links there. Be sure to give us a 5-star review. If you dig what you hear here on the show, leave us a 5-star review on Apple. Helps get the show a little bit of notoriety, and the more people that listen to our show, the better guests we get. Maybe the next time we do a Marvel conversation, maybe we can get like the guy that plays Phil Coulson on the show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could do that.
Somebody needs to take their medication. Just heard another alert go off. But yeah, just take a brief moment. Just leave us a 5-star review. We do appreciate it. So until next week, hopefully, we'll talk to you guys and gals later.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.